All right, welcome back. On our countdown, obviously, to Inauguration Day coming up on Friday. Going back to Thursday's news conference, Sandy, we still see this really strange or interesting place where our president-elect is versus his own sort of intelligence community. You troubled by that, or is that going to just sort of filter itself out?
Yeah, actually, I'm very troubled by it. So when I look at what Donald Trump has said, it concerns me greatly. And again, for someone who's worked for two presidents, you know, there is a certain seriousness in which you want to take national intelligence that I'm not seeing in Donald Trump. However, what I will say is that I have been exceptionally pleased with not just who Donald Trump has nominated, but how the hearings are going for Pompeo and for Mattis and for Tillerson. There isn't a single cabinet appointee that he has put forth on the intelligence and national security side that I have any issues with whatsoever. It
was interesting that the anti-Russian in the place is suddenly Marco Rubio in his questioning of Tillerson. That was really fascinating the other day. This intel relationship, Nolan, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, he's going to own this in a few weeks. And as Sandy said, he's put some good people in place, but the intelligence community hasn't done its own self any favors. It's now under investigation by the Inspector General for the whole way it handled the Hillary Clinton investigation. I mean, there's not a whole lot of confidence amongst the American people in general of the intelligence community today. Well, and I mean, you can't fault him for being angry. Somebody in that community released very sketchy, very damaging documents this week to the media that had no business going out with that level of substantiation.
Lena, your thoughts on this, because I think that whether the president has faith in his intelligence community or not, the rest of the world probably needs to think that he does.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And I'm with Sandy, I'm with Nolan, I'm with you. This is concerning.
But not with Steve, right?
I love you, Steve, but he hasn't weighed in yet.
It's okay. I'm going to move my chair over.
There is great concern way beyond the intelligence issue, that we are so disunified and broken as a country. America is hurting. I think that's the greatest manifestation. It manifests itself in the situation with the intelligence community. It manifests itself in just the dissension amongst people within our parties, within the grassroots. Yeah. I'm concerned, and I think it's time for us to unite and come together. And it sounds so easy, but it's going to be extremely challenging.
Well, you've teed him up. Let's let him hear what he has to say.
I think that's part of the problem. I think the other part of the problem is that you're dealing with somebody who is about to be the president of the United States, who has not been forthcoming about the extent or the nature of his relationships with the Russian government. You look at what was in this dossier. I mean, people are concentrating on the salacious stuff. The stuff in front of it was, I think, far worse. Things about relationships that go back 5, 10 years between the Kremlin and Donald Trump. I think he's got to start addressing some of that stuff up front. If it's not true, he needs to say, this is not true. Notice what he's saying is, that's fake news. He's not saying, I didn't do those things.
And at what point does the media stand up and say, I'm not going to print this?
Well,
at what point do you and the media take responsibility?
But I was on Twitter this week defending quite a bit the difference between the BuzzFeed approach, because I agree with Nolan. I don't think that should have been released that way. But the CNN approach was a different matter altogether. One of the reporters on that was Carl Bernstein, who knows a thing or two about
anonymous sources.
So here's the thing on Russia that really concerns me. So on every issue, Donald Trump has been willing to be hard-edged. He's been willing to be, I'm going to get tough on Korea, I'm going to get tough on China, I'm going to get tough on Mexico, I'm going to get tough with the automakers, right? But oddly, when it comes to Russia, and you know, Vladimir Putin's strategy, his domestic political strategy is to be at war with the United States. That has been his MO since he has been in that role now for I don't know how many years. But that is his goal, is to be at war with the United States. So why is Donald Trump having this very odd kind of disconnected strategy with Russia that he has had with every other entity and foreign government out there? He's like playing tough with everyone else, but playing footsie with Russia. And I agree with Stephen. I am really concerned about the lack of transparency into the taxes and his holdings and who he owes and how much he owes to who he owes.
Only use the last couple seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I think what he did yesterday in terms of, you mentioned his businesses, I think it was a decent approach, but it falls short of what's necessary, and that would be divestment and focusing 100% on the presidency.
And we're going to leave it there. The focus will obviously be on the presidency this week, Inauguration Day set for Friday. We come back, we'll take you to Cobo for our walkthrough of this year's North American International Auto Show on Flashpoint.